Hey everyone, Derek here again. I'm here to bring you a different kind of video today. As you know, I am a big fan of Sons of Anarchy and The Walking Dead, and I'm a fan of The Walking Dead because I've enjoyed zombie movies my whole life. I've definitely been big into the zombie series. And as many of you may or may not have known, there's actually a new zombie series coming to television on the Sci-Fi Channel in approximately 11 days. It's called Z Nation, and it's premiering on September 12th at, I believe, 9 o'clock p.m. And I just wanted to give you my thoughts on it, maybe give some things that I'm looking forward to with the series, some things I might be worrying about a little bit. Because, I always said that zombies on television is a very good idea, and it's also been a big improvement for just people that love zombie stories. One of the things that you always find that when you watch a zombie movie is when it's over, it's over. I've never really seen a sequel to a zombie series other than 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later, those. But I mean, none of George A. Romero's movies ever dealt with the same characters. You always wanted to know, like, what happened to some of these people. A continuation of the story, and you never really got that. And just in general, other movies, like the way they leave off. You always want more. And AMC's The Walking Dead has always been able to deliver on that more philosophy. Okay, we're not just going to end it after one episode. You're going to get to find out what's going to happen further and further and further. How does humanity deal with the zombie apocalypse? And that's what I like about Walking Dead. And I think that, Z Nation is definitely a different take on the zombie apocalypse, and I'm really interested about it, and I wanted to share my thoughts on it. So, just in case you're looking to watch it as well, if you don't want any like spoilers or any kind of revelations, I'm just basically going to be talking about the things I saw in the trailer and things that I've read. They've really been tight-lipped overall about what is going to happen. They have released a couple of things, but nothing that would really be like spoilers. Really, I think that if you watch the trailer or if you like read the articles, you would find out the same information. But in case you don't want to find out anything, I'm going to be talking about some things, so there may be spoilers. So if you don't want to find out anything, you want to go in completely fresh, don't watch the video, please. Okay. So, basically, it's a different take on the zombie apocalypse because, what we're looking at is a story that is actually taking place 3 years after the original zombie apocalypse takes place. So it's not like we're getting a fresh look at it, kind of like how the first episode of Walking Dead was perhaps a few weeks after the events began. And it's always interesting to see like a progression because people are going to be different early on in the zombie apocalypse, and when they get later, that's when you're going to find things are changing. And it's taking a different stance on it. It's looking at more of a mission. It's more of a not necessarily focusing on the way to survive in a zombie apocalypse, but a mission. And what it's going to be about is there's actually been a person who has been bitten by a walker or a zombie. Excuse me. Guess I'll refer to them as zombies. But they've been bitten by a zombie, but they haven't died and they haven't turned into a zombie, which is not something you ever see. I mean, as we know, most zombie culture will say, if you're bitten by a zombie, you're going to die and turn into one unless you amputate the limb. So this person's been bitten on the stomach by a walker and hasn't changed into a walker. I'm so used to saying walker, zombie. So basically, there's a mission that they're in New York. And I guess that in California, I guess there's a center that potentially was doing research on the zombie apocalypse, and they want to take that guy there to potentially get a cure. So what it's pretty much going to be about is the journey from New York to California, and we don't really know how long this is going to be. I mean, for all we know, it may take them several seasons to get to California. They may stretch that out. And it may, or they may just, by the time we get to the end of the season, they're going to make it there. It is 13 episodes. It is starting on September 12th. And it's definitely looking like it has some potential. I mean, I'm not going to count it out. It definitely has an interesting story. It could definitely get interest, considering a lot of people like zombie action. I think that you watch Walking Dead for various different reasons. And if you're a fan of zombies, then you're gonna probably turn in and see if you're gonna like Z Nation. I know I'm gonna try it. You know, it's definitely gonna give me something to look forward to before we get to Walking Dead, and just seeing the different take on it. And I definitely think they have an interesting concept behind it. You see like a big mission trying to get there. So it definitely has an interesting concept. The zombies look pretty decent. They're not as deteriorated as AMC's Walking Dead ones are. But I mean, for all we know, they may be. I mean, we just need to see a different look at them. I mean, the trailer, they may have shown zombies earlier on. I think they might do some flashbacks. So who knows? The zombies may look interesting, but they're not the walking zombies. They're more like the zombies that you would find in 28 Days Later or in 2004 Dawn of the Dead remake by Zack Snyder. What they kind of were doing was they were actually like running. So you may have more threatening zombies, and you may see more, you know, action in regards to like them trying to shoot a zombie, and a zombie's like gonna like jump all over the place or run and duck. You don't know, so you might see a more of an interesting take on zombie action where the zombie actually has abilities to fight back. So you may see that. I don't know, but it definitely looks like there's going to be different kinds of zombies. Um, and again, they do have a pretty decent cast. You have Harold Perrineau, who is known for his roles on Lost, on Sons of Anarchy. He's played various different television and movie roles. So definitely, he seems like a very tough guy. You know, he definitely has a lot of good qualities about him. His character seems to be the leader of the group, and he has like a very interesting scar going across his face. So you might see that he is going to be a tough character. You have Tom Everett Scott, who was on Southland, and also actually played a role on Sons of Anarchy. He was Rosen, the attorney for the Sons in the first two seasons. DJ Qualls, who also had a guest starring role on Lost, and I think that he was also on Supernatural, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what else he's been in, but he seems like a techie kind of guy. You know, I think he's going to be interesting. We also have Michael Welch. We have Kalita Smith and Anastasia Baranova. I don't know too much about their characters yet. They didn't really get featured too much in the trailer, so I don't really know what those characters are necessarily going to be. But again, I think it has an interesting concept behind it. I think if they time it out right, you might actually have a very decent series. My worries about it are, one, like seeing what they're going to focus on. One of the things that I worry about is that it could be too repetitive. If we're just focusing too much on the mission and not focusing on the actual, like, surviving in the zombie apocalypse, it could get really, boring. Like, the thing about Walking Dead is they're always focusing on different aspects of surviving, and they're always focusing on, the changing circumstances. I mean, one minute you're at a campsite, the next minute you're at a farm, and then the next season you're at, the prison, and then after the halfway point you're on the road again, and now you're at terms. There's things that are always changing, and I worry that if we see too much of this, we got to do the mission, we got to do the mission, we got to do the mission, mission. It's just going to get old and boring. So I worry that might be a little bit of a worry. Another thing is them starting 3 years later might also be a little bit of a disadvantage, because I think that, again, Walking Dead is a lot about how do you develop as a character, and I worry that these people are already developed and there may not be a lot of room to develop them because you're focusing more on a zombie mission than you are on actually surviving a zombie apocalypse. So if these people are already hardened individuals, then you might not get as much character development, and that's another thing I worry about. One-dimensional characters are just boring. We see a lot of people on Walking Dead, changing all the time. Their attitude is changing. The way they survive is changing. And I worry that we're not going to be able to see that in Z Nation because they're 3 years later into the zombie apocalypse. At least that's what I think. From what I've read, it's been 3 years. So I worry that might be like a disadvantage for them. Another thing that you definitely have to take into consideration is the pacing, um, because part of me thinks that, if you're traveling from New York to California, how much space is going to be in between each episode, and are you just going to have like one episodes, like you're in one place, then you're in another place, then you're in another place, or are they going to stick around for a little bit? Like, are they going to make it? Excuse me. Are they going to make it to California by the end or not? We don't know. And I mean, I think it'd be okay if they did, and I think it'd be okay if they didn't. I mean, some storylines take a few seasons to figure out, You have a lot of mysteries, you have a destination in mind, and sometimes it takes a little bit in order to even get to that point. So I think pacing's definitely key, but I really think that Z Nation definitely has to, do some of the things that Walking Dead does in order to be successful as a series. Again, zombie action is great. That's definitely going to get some people into it. The fact that it is a zombie apocalypse is going to attract people. Perhaps people waiting for Walking Dead are going to think, oh, well, another zombie series would be nice to, occupy my time. But again, I think that they really need to focus on making sure that they can develop these characters, that we're not just focusing on a mission, that we're also focusing on the characters, and that we're also focusing on surviving and seeing how these characters adapt to surviving, because otherwise it's not going to be interesting. Plus, I'm interested to see if they will have an antagonist and what that will be, because I don't think that you can just have zombies and have it be a good show. The incorporation of the governor was key for Walking Dead. I think it was very good. And having this Gareth, be a new antagonist, I think that you need something like that. Somebody who might be trying to, stop the mission or try to kill this guy because he is a threat. And I think that also if you focus a lot on this character that is bitten and you develop him a little more and we find out some things about him, maybe, who knows? I mean, maybe he is infected per se, just not turning into a zombie. I mean, for all we know, he might bite somebody as a person and it might turn them into a zombie. You never know. It's like, is he infected or is he not? We don't really know. So I think that it would be interesting to explore things like that. And if you do, I think it would make a nice spin on things and it would definitely be interesting. So with that, again, I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to see what it has, to offer. And if it's good, I'll keep watching it and I'll keep doing episode reviews on it. And who knows, I might do a zombie kill count for Z Nation as well. Because, big thing is how many zombies can you kill? And I mean, Walking Dead has definitely killed over 800 zombies or more in the entire 4 seasons that it's had. Who knows? Maybe Z Nation will try to top that. So it'll definitely be interesting, and I say give it a shot. If it's not your thing, then it's not your thing. We all have our likes and dislikes out there. So I want to thank everybody again for watching. And again, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Please give me video topics. Any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. Definitely interested to see what they have in store. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you.